Have you ever noticed how a lie can circle the globe while the truth is still putting on its shoes? There's a terrifying simplicity to ignorance that makes it irresistible, like fast food for the mind. While wisdom requires patience, discipline, and the courage to sit with uncertainty, stupidity offers something far more seductive: immediate answers, tribal belonging, and the comfort of never having to question yourself. We live in an age where information travels at the speed of light, yet somehow we're becoming more confused, more divided, more susceptible to the obvious lies that our ancestors would have laughed at. The question isn't whether stupidity spreads faster than intelligence. The question is why we keep choosing it, even when we know better. Because here's the uncomfortable truth: we're not just victims of misinformation. We're willing participants in our own intellectual decay. Think about the last time you saw something outrageous online, something that made your blood boil or your heart race. Did you fact-check it? Or did you share it immediately because it confirmed what you already believed? Be honest. We've all done it. That moment, that split second where emotion hijacked reason, is where stupidity finds its entry point. And once it's in, it spreads like wildfire through the dry kindling of our biases, our fears, our desperate need to be right rather than to be accurate. The human brain is a contradiction. It's the most sophisticated organ we know of in the universe, capable of composing symphonies, splitting atoms, and contemplating its own existence. Yet this same magnificent organ is also lazy, tribal, and terrified of being wrong. Evolution designed our brains for survival in small groups on the African savanna, not for navigating the infinite complexity of the modern information ecosystem. Our ancestors needed quick judgments. Is that a snake or a stick? Friend or foe? There was no evolutionary advantage to saying, "Let me gather more data and consider alternative hypotheses." The ones who hesitated became lunch. So we inherited mental shortcuts, cognitive biases that once kept us alive, but now make us vulnerable to manipulation. Confirmation bias makes us seek information that supports what we already believe. Availability bias makes us think whatever we heard most recently must be most important. The Dunning-Kruger effect ensures that those who know the least are often the most confident. And social proof, that ancient tribal instinct, whispers that if everyone else believes something, it must be true. These aren't flaws in the system, they are the system, and they make us exquisitely vulnerable to viral ignorance. But here's where it gets truly fascinating and disturbing. Stupidity doesn't just spread because of our cognitive limitations. It spreads because it serves a purpose. It gives us something intelligence often cannot: certainty, community, and identity. When you embrace a simple explanation for a complex world, you get the profound psychological relief of no longer having to think so hard. You get the warm embrace of others who believe the same thing. You get enemies to fight and a clear sense of who you are. Intelligence demands that you hold multiple contradictory ideas simultaneously, that you say, "I don't know," more often than "I'm certain," that you remain perpetually open to being wrong. Who wants to live like that? Stupidity offers a home. Intelligence offers only an endless journey. Consider how conspiracy theories spread. They don't succeed because they're well-reasoned or evidence-based. They succeed because they're emotionally satisfying. They transform random chaos into purposeful evil, which somehow feels better than accepting that sometimes terrible things happen for no reason at all. They make you feel special, like you're one of the enlightened few who can see through the lies. They give you a narrative where you're the hero, fighting against dark forces. Intelligence might tell you that the world is complicated, that most people are doing their best with imperfect information, that accidents happen and incompetence is far more common than malevolence. But stupidity tells you a story, and humans are story-seeking creatures. We'd rather have a wrong story than no story at all. The algorithms that govern our digital lives have learned this truth and weaponized it. They're not designed to make us smarter or wiser. They're designed to keep us engaged, scrolling, clicking, reacting, and nothing drives engagement like outrage, fear, and tribal identification. The algorithm doesn't care about truth, it cares about attention. So it feeds us exactly what our biases crave, creating echo chambers where our existing beliefs are endlessly reinforced and opposing viewpoints are cast as dangerous or evil. We think we're freely choosing what to consume, but we're being farmed for our attention. And the crop that grows best in this soil is righteous ignorance. If this resonates with you, if you've felt the pull of these forces in your own life, you're beginning to see the matrix we're all trapped in. And recognizing it is the first step toward freedom. Stay with me, because what comes next might change how you see everything. Consider subscribing so you don't miss where this journey leads. Now let's go deeper. Why does stupidity spread faster than intelligence on a purely mechanical level? Because stupidity is simple and intelligence is complex. A lie can be told in 7 words. The truth might require 7 paragraphs. A conspiracy theory can be summarized in a meme. A nuanced analysis requires reading, thinking, and intellectual effort. In the marketplace of ideas, simplicity has an enormous competitive advantage. It's more shareable, more memorable, more emotionally potent. Truth is often grey, qualified, boring. Lies are vivid, absolute, exciting. Think about the most viral content you've ever seen. Was it a careful scholarly analysis with multiple citations, or was it a provocative claim that made you feel something intensely? Emotion is the engine of virality, and stupidity is rocket fuel for emotion. Intelligence asks you to pause, to consider, to doubt. Stupidity demands that you react immediately, share reflexively, defend instinctively. Every moment of reflection is friction that slows the spread. Stupidity eliminates friction. It's frictionless ignorance, sliding effortlessly through networks of human connection. But there's something even more insidious at work. We're living through a crisis of institutional trust. The authorities we once relied on to arbitrate truth, scientists, journalists, experts, academics, have been systematically discredited, sometimes deservedly, often unfairly. When trust collapses, people don't stop believing in things. They just start believing in different things, usually things that align with their tribal identity. In the absence of trusted arbiters, the loudest voice wins. The most confident voice wins. And stupidity is always confident. It has to be. The moment stupidity admits uncertainty, it loses its power. Intelligence, meanwhile, is plagued by doubt. The more you know, the more you realize how much you don't know. Every answer reveals 10 new questions. Real expertise makes you humble because you understand the complexity, the uncertainty, the provisional nature of knowledge. But in a culture that mistakes confidence for competence, intelligence sounds wishy-washy. Stupidity sounds strong. We're evolutionarily wired to follow the alpha, the one who projects certainty, even when that certainty is unearned and dangerous. Consider your own life for a moment. How many times have you been drawn to simple solutions for complex problems? How often have you believed something, not because the evidence was strong, but because believing it felt good? How frequently have you dismissed information that contradicted your worldview without really examining it? This isn't a judgment. This is the human condition. We're all vulnerable. The difference between wisdom and ignorance isn't that wise people don't have these impulses. It's that they notice them, question them, and consciously choose something harder. But there's a secret that changes everything, something that most people never realize. The spread of stupidity isn't inevitable. It's a choice we make collectively, moment by moment, click by click. Every time we pause before sharing, every time we seek out opposing viewpoints, every time we say, "I don't know," or "let me look into that further," we're building immunity to viral ignorance. The antidote to stupidity isn't just more information, it's intellectual humility, critical thinking, and the courage to swim against the current of our own cognitive biases. The truly dangerous thing about stupidity isn't that it exists, it's that it feels like intelligence from the inside. When you're caught in the grip of a compelling but false narrative, you don't feel stupid. You feel enlightened. You feel like everyone else is blind, and you can finally see. This is why arguing with people rarely changes minds. You're not just fighting their beliefs, you're fighting their identity, their community, their entire sense of reality. And the more you push, the deeper they dig in, because now it's not just about being right, it's about psychological survival. So what's the answer? How do we stop stupidity from spreading faster than intelligence? The uncomfortable truth is that we can't, not entirely, but we can slow it down. We can build resistance. We can create small pockets of sanity in an insane information environment. It starts with self-awareness, with recognizing your own vulnerability to manipulation. It continues with intellectual humility, with being willing to say, "I was wrong," more often than "I told you so." It requires diversifying your information diet, actively seeking out perspectives that challenge your assumptions rather than reinforce them. It means developing what ancient philosophers called epistemic virtue, the character traits that make you a better thinker, curiosity instead of certainty, nuance instead of absolutism, patience instead of reactivity. It means treating your attention as the precious resource it is, and refusing to give it freely to those who profit from your outrage. It means building real relationships with real people who disagree with you, so they can't be easily demonized as the enemy. It means teaching the next generation not just what to think, but how to think, equipping them with the cognitive tools to navigate a world designed to manipulate them. Here's the revelation that ties everything together. Stupidity spreads faster than intelligence because we're playing the wrong game. We're trying to win arguments when we should be building understanding. We're trying to be right when we should be trying to be less wrong. We're treating knowledge as a possession to defend rather than a process to embrace. Intelligence isn't something you have. It's something you practice moment by moment in a world that constantly tempts you toward intellectual laziness. The real battle isn't between smart people and stupid people. It's between the part of each of us that seeks truth and the part that seeks comfort. We all contain both. The question is which one we feed, which one we strengthen through habit and practice. Stupidity is the path of least resistance. Intelligence is the conscious choice to resist over and over again, even when it's exhausting, even when it's socially costly, even when you'd rather just believe the simple story. In the end, the psychology of viral ignorance reveals something profound about human nature. We're not primarily rational creatures. We're storytelling creatures, social creatures, emotional creatures who happen to be capable of reason when we really try. The spread of stupidity isn't a bug in human consciousness. It's a feature, one that served us well for hundreds of thousands of years. But in the modern world, that feature has become a vulnerability, one that's being actively exploited by those who profit from our confusion. The choice before each of us is stark and unavoidable. Will we be conscious participants in the spread of intelligence, even when it's difficult? Or will we be unconscious vectors for the spread of stupidity, even when we think we're being enlightened? There's no middle ground anymore. Every click, every share, every reaction is a vote for the kind of world we want to live in. Choose wisely. Because stupidity may spread faster, but intelligence, when it finally arrives, lasts longer and penetrates deeper. It's the difference between a wildfire and a tree. One burns bright and consumes everything quickly. The other grows slowly, but provides shelter for generations. If this video made you see the world differently, share it with someone who needs to hear this message. Like and subscribe to join others who are choosing the harder path, the path of genuine curiosity and intellectual honesty. Together we might not win, but at least we'll understand what we're fighting for. And sometimes understanding is victory enough.